So, I wanted to do a quick video all about interning. Um, so, before I blogged, I actually worked in fashion for about 7 or 8 years. I kind of did everything from, gosh, I did so much. I did events, both trade and consumer. I helped out with press, I helped out with marketing. I did basically my primary role was wholesale. Like, it was a small to mid-sized company, so I pitched in a lot, with a lot of things. And even though my primary role was wholesale, so basically I sold our product to people like ASOS, House of Fraser, um, I don't know, loads, Selfridges, like loads of different people. Even though that was my primary role, I did get involved in loads and loads and loads of different parts of the company. And as part of that, we had a lot of interns, like, all the time. Like, my Facebook is full of old interns who added me on there. Some of them I've remained really good friends with. Some of them have gone on to do incredible things. Some of them have decided not to do fashion at all. Some of them have gone into PR, into beauty, loads of different things. And like, while interning is kind of a little bit frowned upon now, and brands have to pay for their interns, which back when I was working they didn't have to for most of it. You basically just had to work for yourself and kind of support yourself while you interned. But that's a whole different conversation. It is an incredible way to get experience and also get fashion experience on your CV. But there are a few things that I thought I would share some wisdom with you all. So, first of all, most of the internships that you will find will be in London. So, to do them, you will have to find accommodation in London, which can be tricky if you don't live here. And if your parents don't live here, it will mean that you're paying rent and basically not really earning very much. But you don't have to do the internship for long. Some of them are 1 to 3 months, which isn't much. Sometimes if there's an internship which is 3 months long, you can ask to do only 1 month, and you can say, I will bring so much to the table, I'll work really hard, but explain that you can't afford to do 3 months and that you'd love to do 1 month, and that, if you can afford to do more after that, you will, but you can only really commit to 1 month because of living conditions. Well, not living conditions, but living living costs in London, which most people will understand. So you don't have to do it for long. You might not have to intern for too many years. Like, some people allow for themselves to intern for a year, but actually you might find that you only have to intern for 3 months before you find yourself a job. It's the age-old problem when working in fashion of, you can't get a job without experience, but you can't get experience if nobody will give you that experience. So doing work experience allows you to get that experience, which is completely invaluable when it comes to actually trying to get that permanent job. And remember, you might be working for free now, but you won't be working for free forever. Or you might be working for like £5 an hour now, but you won't be working for £5 an hour forever. So much like when you're at university and you were kind of not being paid to be there, now, it's just another part of your education. So don't be put off by the fact that you're not earning, because you are learning so much more and it's invaluable. I don't really know what I'm saying. Also, once you get there, you might kind of have these big illusions of Devil Wears Prada, and you're going to be designing and you're going to be making stuff and you're going to be like hugely contributing to the company, and then you might get there and they kind of ask you to make a cup of tea or help you move boxes or take delivery of something or walk to the post office or go buy toilet paper. Like, all these jobs I have had to do. And at the time you're like, God, I'm not learning anything. But actually, you are learning stuff, because it doesn't take you all day to go buy toilet paper or go make coffee. And when you're not doing those things, you get to see how a fashion or a beauty brand works on a day-to-day basis. You get to see everything. You get to hear conversations, you get to watch, you get to listen, you get to learn. occasionally somebody might ask you your opinion, or you might have an idea that you feel you can go to somebody and kind of quietly say, I've got this idea, can I tell it to you? Or I have a suggestion, because you can do that, and that is a possibility. Not all the time people are going to want to listen, but that that is something you can do. And also, if you prove yourself as a good intern, you might find at the end of the internship they actually say to you, like, there is actually a job and they would love to offer it to you. Or you might find there's not a job right there and then, but there is one in like 3 months time. My first job in fashion I got because I was an internship, and then 6 months later, when they needed a person, they messaged me and were like, hey, are you interested? And I was like, yes, I am. So you don't really know what it's going to progress to in a month's time, 6 months time, anywhere. And also, one internship might get you in the door for a new internship, and then that new internship might be the one that gets you that job. So that's another good thing. You won't be interning forever. It is not Girls, the TV show. You will not be interning till you're 30. You will get a job. And if you don't get a job within a year, like after a year of interning, it's not fashion. It's maybe you and your work ethic. So you might want to question that. I know that sounds really brutal, but if you're doing a lot of internships and you've got a lot on your CV and you're getting the interviews and you're not getting the job, you might want to question why, and if there's something else that's out of your control that you should have done, or you're coming across badly, or you're coming across as kind of bitter that you're like not earning and you've been working in fashion. You need to think about that. What else? I think just be really, really, really positive when you go in. Like, it's so easy to go to an internship and think, God, I'm not getting paid. Everybody else here is getting paid. Or, you're getting paid like £5 an hour and everybody else is on a real wage. But you cannot think like that. You cannot think like that. You have to be super happy that you're there. You have to be really proud that you're working for this brand. You have to show up on time. You have to show up early. You need to offer to stay late. If there's an event at the weekend, you want to be offering to work it. You want to be contributing. You want to be putting in the extra hours. You want to be turning up, at the time your boss turns up. You want to be making them a cup of tea until they're ready to give you your first task. You want to be staying till your job is finished at the end of the day. If you see like other interns bitching about not getting paid enough or getting treated badly, you need to say to them, hey, we're interns, we're here to learn, this is benefiting us. If we've worked really hard to get here, like, you need to step up and bridge the gap between being an intern and an employee. And if there's something else that you can contribute to being an intern, like in the company, that they don't maybe know about, like, say you are an incredible photographer and you're there and you're an intern and you're packing boxes or you're making tea, and you see that like nobody really has time to be on Twitter or Instagram, you can say to them, hey, I'm a really good photographer and I have a DSLR camera and I would love to bring it in and take some photos that you can just post on Instagram, or I can post for you on Instagram, because this is my Instagram account and I've got a great Instagram account, I take great pictures, and I think I can do this additional thing to really help out. And that will kind of make you really indisposable and really kind of like show them, hey, this girl's got initiative and this girl's got an amazing sense of common sense. Because actually that's something that a lot of interns might lack. They're quite young, they might lack common sense, they might lack a little bit of initiative, they might be too scared to just speak up and say like, hey, I can do this, or hey, my degree's in English, I'm really good at writing press releases, or I've done some styling projects in the past, would you like to see pictures, because I've seen you're doing a shoot in 2 weeks time and actually I can be a runner for the day, or I can help dress some models for a day, or there's like, if you've got more skills, you can tell them. Like, you don't want to come across as conceited, like the jobs that you're doing isn't good enough for you. But if you've got an additional skill, then you can like, once you've kind of been there a little while, like maybe a couple of weeks, and you've really shown that you work hard and you're dedicated, you can go to like your line manager and say, this is something else I can give to you, are you interested? And that is really good. And maybe if you show them some examples of work, that again really will go far. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, a friend of mine, she was at university with a girl who applied for an internship at Vogue, and she didn't get it, but then the person who did get it basically dropped out and didn't do it. So then there was a space to do it, and it was like 2 weeks' notice. Will you do it? Yes, we didn't ask you in the first place, but we want you now. And a lot of people would have turned around and said, no, you didn't want me, you know. And instead, this girl really stepped up and she cleared her diary and she said, yes, I'll be there. I think she might have been going on a holiday or something, like, because I don't know, she was planning on having a couple of weeks off or whatever, but she made herself available, she got herself to London, and she was like, yeah, I can start in 2 weeks, I will be there. She did her month's unpaid internship, because that's what it was at the time. Now you would be paid like a very small amount, but at the time it was completely unpaid. But she got that Vogue internship on her CV, and once she had that on her CV, it was invaluable. And then every time she applied for another job, or like either a magazine or a brand, and she was able to put like a Vogue internship on there, people listened, you know, people really took notice of that. And, you know, a lot of people could have turned around and been like, oh, they didn't want me. Oh, they only want me because somebody else has dropped out. Yeah, it's true. They only wanted you when somebody dropped out, but actually they still wanted you. And that's incredible. So take it, like take that opportunity. Like internships are all about taking opportunities, grabbing life by the balls. You know, you'll only get the opportunity to intern like for a short space of time before, you know, you get that first job. And the more interning you can do in that time period, the better, because you will never have a period of your life where you're able to put so much on your CV in such a short space of time. Because once you start going into professional work and you get a full-time permanent job on a career, on a salary, you cannot be seen to be job hopping, because it makes you look unreliable. Like, you know, you need to be staying at each job for at least a year and a half. If you are seen to be only doing like a year at a time in like for 5 years, the next person won't think of you as somebody who's going to really stay for the long haul. They're going to just think that you're staying there for a year until you move on, which doesn't look good for you, to be honest. So to kind of like later on, you will need to show longevity, but when you're interning, you can put 12 different companies on your CV in the space of a year, which is incredible because it shows so much experience. But you won't get that opportunity to really bulk out your CV with so much incredibleness and so many incredible brands for that time. Another story I have about a friend of mine who was an intern. She applied for an internship at a huge company, and she was in Paris. She was in London. She was at London College of Fashion. She applied for an internship. I'm not going to name the brand, but they are a huge, major player. She got to Paris. She got her apartment. She was there, and then like 2 days before she was due to start, she got a phone call saying like, oh, I'm so sorry, we don't need you anymore. She was like, well, what do I do? Like, I don't know what to do. So I swear to God, she told me this is the absolute truth. She went to Chanel, the Rue Cambon store, and next door where the offices are, she knocked on the door and she introduced herself really politely. She explained she was at London College of Fashion. She said that she was meant to be doing an internship for a competing brand who at the last minute after she got to Paris and got her apartment, said that they no longer needed her, and if they had any available space, she would love to, you know, work for them for free for the next, you know, I don't know, however long it was, month, 2 months, whatever. She had her portfolio, she spoke to somebody there, she explained what happened, and then they came in, they had, you know, a sit down with her, and she ended up interning at Chanel, which was completely unplanned, but, you know, she saw this opportunity of, well, if they don't want me, somebody else will. And she just had the courage, and after she had that on her CV, that was huge for her, like huge. So there's so many amazing ways that internships can really open the door for you. I don't know if I'm being helpful or not, but yeah, basically, if you're wanting to work in fashion, don't be afraid of internships. Don't be afraid to work hard. Don't feel like you're wasting your time when you make those cups of tea or run those errands, because you're there for maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months. There's so much that if you see, it's like almost getting like hate on the internet. You read those negative comments. You might only have one negative comment, but like you've got 15 nice comments. You almost hone in on the negative comment. But it's like that with internships. It's like I'll get asked to make a cup of tea for like 15 people. You might think, God, I'm learning nothing. I'm making tea for 15 people. But then the rest of the day, you could have an opportunity to, you know, sit in on a meeting with a press, with the press officer and a magazine. You might be helping do a sample send out. You might be calling, magazines in to call back samples. You might be researching new influencers to work with. There's so much more that you'll be doing in that day. You really have to forget about making tea, make the tea well, keep offering tea. People love being offered tea, but when you're not making that tea, you will be learning so much. You'll be watching so much. You'll be meeting so many people. The interns that you're working with, you don't know where they're going to go next. You don't know when they're going to be able to put in a good word for you. Like if somebody, if you finish an internship and somebody else finishes an internship and then you have nothing planned in a week and they've already finished and they turn up at a job where they're like, God, we need an intern. You never know. That person might be able to say, hey, I know somebody, I worked with them at a previous internship. I know they've got nothing planned for the summer now. Like, do you want me to like message them on Facebook and see if we can get them in? And so you just never know where it's going to lead. And it's such an exciting time and you learn so much. And I just want to let people know, don't be disheartened by the idea that you're getting paid not at all or you're getting paid very little, because you're learning so much, you're meeting so many people. Like, I have friends who were interns and now they're working at Vogue. Now they are brand managers, now they are like press officers. They're doing so much. I have, so much, and it's such a good experience to meet people and learn stuff and put so much on your CV. And it's a great time. It's really expensive and it is a bit scary because you're putting so much work in and you're spending money on travel, you're spending money on rent, you're spending money on food, you're maybe not getting any money back. You don't know when you'll next be getting money back. You don't know where it's going to lead, but I promise you it will lead somewhere if you just work hard, have a great attitude and take it seriously and talk to as many people as possible and be respectful and work super hard, make a lot of cup of tea, and it will, I swear to God, it will go somewhere. And just do it and don't be afraid, because everybody starts off interning. And as much as people say that it's terrible and it's exploitation, blah, blah, I'm not going to get into that, but I am going to get into the fact that you will learn so much and put so much on your CV, and it is really just an extension of your education. And you weren't being paid to be at university, you weren't being paid to be at school, and you might not be getting paid to do an internship, but it's still 100% worth it. If anyone has any questions or wants any advice from me, please do just comment and I will try and answer and I'll try and help. I hope I haven't rambled on for too long. I don't know if it's been at all useful. I don't really know. But I just thought it might be helpful to somebody. And there's 10 whole subscribers. One of you might want to work in fashion and one of you might want to do an internship. So who knows? Thank you very much. Goodbye.